Welcome to the Wicked Gamer and Collector. It's time for a message from the future. Because I found some new interesting products and I'm always wanted to share this here on the channel. So in this video we are going to talk about a brand new system that is from China called the Magic Box. But before we're going to do that, let's talk about a little bit about what is message from the future for the people new to the channel. Here I talk about new products coming out from AliExpress, and sometimes it's just crappy products. Sometimes I'm combining, let's say, the products for one message from the future. But in this case, I think it's pretty interesting to talk about one product. Nevertheless, there are so many products out there, and sometimes they are very hard to find. I've noticed and talked about fellow YouTubers who didn't even find it at all. Sometimes you need to be a little bit lucky because it's one big pile of products in AliExpress. But okay, let's talk about the product itself, because this is quite interesting. But shall we take a close look at the Magic Cube 4K? So basically what this is an Android box slapped in a new casing and just selling it like a retro game system. Alright, giving us the choice to order 3 different versions. But I find very strange, if you're looking at the description, I will show you a little bit later, we can find one with wireless controllers. But sadly we can't buy them here. As you can see, they go from around 60 bucks up to more than 70 bucks for a Magic Cube game system. So but let's take a close look at the description and what can we do with it. So they saying it's 4K, but that's just basically a lie, like the cake in Portal 2. It's a 1080p signal output and it's based on a very old, let's say, technology of Android boxes. It has an emulation from old school 8-bit up to PlayStation 1 and nothing more, so it's not to be compared with the Raspberry Pi number 4. I have reviewed quite some different game systems from China, and nowadays we don't have many different, let's say, configurations if it comes to the hardware. We're having the Orange Pi or the Pi systems, we're having just basically Raspberry Pi in a case with the controllers, yeah, they are so naughty like that, and we're having the Android box / Android versions. I think this thing is based on a Linux version because it has a little bit different configuration. Sadly, there is nothing of such kind of information about the specification of the main board, but what you can see with this layout you're seeing over here, it's very similar to the X2 and the new Powkiddy arcade machine, because these were running on a Linux file system or an Android and having a RetroArch on the background. The first thing that I find always so confusing with these horrible descriptions, that dual TV out, monitor and 4K TV. I have no idea what they're trying to say with this. Can we hook up 2 televisions at the same time, or is it just 2 kind of different systems? I didn't see any VGA output, so confusing. We have a horn, so they try to say they're having a speaker built inside, so that's quite interesting and indeed unique. I did quite some different reviews. I'm not talking about the Pandora's boxes because it is a totally different system. I'm just talking about the retro game systems, and I have never seen a little speaker inside. 4K HD, and here they say it's 1080p HD display, so in other words it's just in 1080p. If I'm ordering one, I will see if it's really 1080p. Sometimes they are just giving us 720p, and they are lying about it. So the layout is exactly the same like the X2 handheld, so I'm guessing the Powkiddy, the X2 and this device is based on a Linux device that is basically running RetroArch on the background. Again, there is not a lot of information to say. You can add an TF card, we have an HDMI out, we have a little switch for on and off, charging port, so I'm guessing this thing runs on 5 volts. Here we have a little overview of all the parts that comes with the device, but sadly there is no wireless controllers, they are all with a cable, and I'm hoping they are very good quality controllers, because most of the time we're getting pretty shitty controllers. But if this is correct, this little Magic Box or Magic Cube is really tiny, and I'm talking about really tiny. So this is the information that I can find on this device, and I just wanted to share with you what are we going to get and what can we expect. So this Magic device is basically a basic retro emulation device. It has quick load, it has quick save, like the previous reviews I've made with the X2, but I don't know for sure if it's going to work perfectly. But it's something that we need to find out, of course, if I'm getting it in and if I'm going to make a full review about it. So yeah, let me know in the comments, what do you think of this? Is this something that is interesting for you? I find it always interesting finding new, weird, obscure products. I want to thank you for watching, consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next video.